We are in the Waskesiu Heritage Museum. We have several buildings. This is our main log building. I mentioned 1928,
Yep.
so I want to show you this bathing suit.
Okay.
That would be worn by a man. It's a one-piece knit wool bathing suit. You can see that it has sort of suspender straps on it. I can't imagine how itchy this would be or how heavy it would be when it was all soaked up with water. But at the opening ceremony on August 10th, 1928, Prime Minister Mackenzie King wore a bathing suit very much like that into the water when he went for his swim. Early artifact that we have is here in this glass case. They are metal park passes. So you can see one there says 1934, 1933, and the round one is 1939. They were the vehicle pass that you would screw on the front grille of your car to show that you had paid your entrance fee at the south gate of the park as you were coming in, and that would give you permission to be in the national park with your vehicle.
Wow.
And the styles have evolved over time. Right now we have a hang tag that you put on your rear view mirror, but at one point in time the Park Pass was a sticker that you put on the window.
Oh, interesting.
So you can see here a group of men standing. That man's wearing knickers, and so is that man. So they were maybe golfers. Some of them were in full suits or whatever, and they've got the log gates that they moved then from the beach to the campground, and they've put the word Prince Albert National Park in branches underneath it. Really quite a lovely thing. So there's a picture from the water looking back toward the gate.
Of what we know now as Main Beach.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so you can see the number of people that there were there for that opening ceremony.
I have pictures, and I have pictures of us parked with our tent, and we were up on the hill overlooking the lake. When the park opened, it was focused on service to the people, and I truly believe it's because of how the park became was because of this political deal that was made, because Mackenzie King as premier lost his seat and he needed a seat. So the Prince Albert organization offered their member to step down and Mackenzie King would be assured of a seat in Prince Albert, and they asked to have this park set aside. I believe it was lumber and fishing at the time, and set aside for the Prince Albert National Park. My concern now is that we've become more economically charged with the need to make everything more expensive, and in that regard I find it's inaccessible to young families unless they have families that are already here. To any of my generation, my children's generation, they remember the bears. My parents used to bundle us up in our pajamas and drive us out to what we called the dump, where we could see the bears all eating the garbage, and nobody was ever afraid of them. You were told not to get out of your cars, not to get in their way, interrupt their eating, but you weren't afraid of them, and I still don't feel nervous about bears. I feel more nervous about elk, actually. Because they have that kind of supercilious walk and look about them. But I remember a friend of my mom's saying, I'll never go back to Waskesiu because it's changed too much. That's when they moved the shack tents up into this area. And yes, they took away the lakefront from ordinary run-of-the-mill people, and made it into a parking lot. I always think of Joni Mitchell's song, the parking lot down there. But she said, I'll never go back to Waskesiu, and she loved it up here. And she said, it's just changed too much. And I said to her, but the lakeshore remains the same, and that's what my big drawing card is, the lakeshore and the massive large lakes that we have are fortunate enough to have, and then the smaller lakes around. So we're very fortunate.